Hey, it's Melissa Casera. If we have not met yet, I am a publicity strategist and professional screenwriter, and I help entrepreneurs create obsessed fan bases for their work. And I get a lot of questions around how I create content for my business. Content meaning newsletters, blog posts, social media posts, etc. So I wanted to give you a little behind the scenes peek today of how I do that. So, what you're looking at right here on the screen is a document that I've created for June 2020. So, essentially, every single month, I decide on the content that I'm going to create in that month, and I create a singular document in Google Docs for that month. So, you're taking a sneak peek at June 2020 right now. And one of the pieces of content that I created for this month is an email that will go out to my entire list to promote a mastermind that I have coming out around creating binge worthy content. So, what this email is essentially an email that spurned off of a survey that I sent a week prior asking people what they were struggling with most, which was making more sales and specifically how the content that they are creating is not helping them to do so. So they definitely need help with that. So, what I did was I crafted an email around that. As you can see, I set it up right in the document with the subject line content sucks. And then I have a little first name tag here, which I will later plug in for MailChimp because that's who I use for my newsletter. And then this is the entire email all set up right here. Okay, so that is how I do it initially. Now, this one piece of content, as I mentioned, will go out to my list. So that is one way that I use this email. Another way that I use the email is I will post it on my blog. So I'll post it on my website, on my blog. And then yet another way that I use this is I will leverage this on Instagram. So in order to do this, Instagram is a very graphic platform, meaning that, it's visual and you need to have visual pieces to go along with it. I can't just plug in text on Instagram, right? I have to have photos or some kind of visual representation. So, the way that I do that is I work with my designer. Her name is Shelly Cohen. She is the founder of Shelly Elizabeth Designs, as you can see here on the screen. So Shelly works with me every single month for this package called Done For You Graphics. And she does this for other people too, not just me. And this is just an explanation of what that is, but I'm showing you this because I wanted to show you what this includes. So essentially, she does a monthly graphic design package, which I buy from her every single month, and it includes 10 done for me graphics. Okay. So these can be a number of different things, which she has listed out here. Facebook posts, YouTube podcasts, pinnable images, and then right here, Instagram stories and posts, which is what I am laying out for you right now. Okay. So essentially, what I do in order to leverage this piece of written content into content that I can then repurpose on Instagram is I will put together a document for Shelly. So as you can see, I say Shelly June 2020 creative direction. And I will put here what I need from her in order to create the graphics that will go along with this particular written piece of content. Okay. So essentially, all I tell her is for the first graphic that I want her to create, the type is an Instagram feed post. Now, what I mean by Instagram feed post is, and I'm just popping over to my Instagram account, this is my feed. So the feed is just these things here. Here is actually one that Shelly drew for me. This was an animated gift that she made for me. Here's another one that she did. But as you can see, this is just all here is the feed. Okay. So that's what I mean by feed post. So it's something that I'm actually going to upload and it's going to live on my feed. So, what I need to do then is tell her what I want to go into that image, right? because she's definitely not a mind reader. She doesn't need to be. So I, instead of sending her the entire blog post and trying to let her figure that out on her own, which is not cool, I went ahead and put the text here that I want her to plug in. So I took this text right out of the piece of content. So I'm not creating new things. This is the whole way that you can create content faster, quicker, and make it work better for you is if you are just repurposing from the actual piece. So this is a line right here where it says, in other words, you've got to become the ultimate binge. So I want this post that I'm going to put on Instagram to say, become the ultimate binge. Okay. Now, Shelly is my designer, and that is up to her what she wants to put on the actual post as far as design goes. I don't care if it's just the words with like a color. I don't care if she wants to put in, some other fancy bells and whistles. I leave that up to her because she is the expert on that. Okay. So that's what I do. Now, a second way that I'm going to leverage it on Instagram is to use stories. Now, I love Instagram stories. They are so fabulous for repurposing your content because they allow you to have more intimate connection and conversation with people. You can always ask people to slide into your DMs, your direct message, so that you can start a conversation with them. So I absolutely love Instagram stories, even better than the feed. So I just want to show you an example. I think you all know what Instagram stories are, but I wanted to show you what Shelly has done for me in the past. Here is a series she had created for me around a workbook that I created around batching. So as you can see, she put all this beautiful graphic at the top, and then these are my words. When you sit down to create content, does it go something like this? The second story says, if you're tired of consuming content instead of creating your own. The third one says, grab my free guide, I Heart Batching, all about content batching and get more done in less time with less stress. Okay, and then link in bio. So I just wanted to show you that as an example of how I leverage content into Instagram stories. So I want Shelly to do something similar to that. So the type for this is a series of 5 Instagram stories. So I just showed you 3. So she made me 3. So I want her to do 5 in this case. Okay. So for the first one, I want it to use this text, want to know the best way to boost sales in your business. Okay. Then the second one says, become the ultimate binge, creating content that you'd want to devour till 3 a.m. Instagram story 3, when you create binge-worthy content, people get to see you, the real you, and start to know, like, and trust you. Okay, so you see how I'm doing this, but I pulled all of that text right from this email that I wrote. So again, I wasn't creating anything new. I'm just repurposing what I have. And so with this one piece of content now, I was just able to leverage it essentially in 4 different ways. So the first way is I'm using it as an email that's going to go out to my entire list. The second way is that I will post it on my website as a blog. And the third way is I'll put it in my Instagram feed. And the fourth way is that I will do a series of stories. And that way I can do this all at once. I've written this and then I've broken out everything that I want and passed it along to Shelly to do this, which is great because outsourcing the graphic piece means that you have way more time to spend on other areas of your business. So that is why I love outsourcing these things to Shelly, because now I can create and leverage my content even more because I am outsourcing that piece to someone who is way better at it than I am. All right. I hope this little behind the scenes peek was helpful for you. And with that said, happy content creation.